And yeah, we are expecting Jerry, but I think you can go ahead and start. And
All right, so we will call this workshop of the DEIC to order at 6:01 p.m.
Mask check. Everyone has their masks over their nose and their mouth. Thank you very much. And then I can go ahead and read off roll call. I keep forgetting to put a list in front of my face. So we will go in order. Jennifer Strickland.
Here.
Christina Carney.
Here.
Aaron Smith.
Here.
Shannon Stout.
Here.
Jessica Gates. Not here. Kurt Schwiegert.
Yep.
And Trina Feldman.
Here.
All right. Hello, Kurt and Trina. Glad to have you even virtually. Okay. So we have this webinar, DEI 101 webinar recording. We have access to it through March, and we can share the video link and passcode with anyone interested. I will say that you have to use a like Chrome add-on, or maybe on certain browsers you have to download something. It's a WebEx add-on, and it was a little frustrating to figure out, but we can help you figure out if you find that you want to access this later, or for any reason, if you want to share it with someone else. So we do have access to it through March. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and share this computer screen. It's an hour long. I think we talked about, take notes, keep note of, what resonates with the committee, what things don't make sense, what things are new to you, what things don't sound quite right. And if y'all want to have some discussion immediately after, you can do that. If you want to schedule a longer, more formal discussion for a different date, we can do that as well. Anything else before I start it? Okay. And I'm starting 3 minutes and 10 seconds in, because everything before that was just introductory stuff. Sorry, I see Trina, you have your hand up. Is that intentional?
Yeah, it is. We are not getting any type of sound or anything coming through, and we're wondering, are we just supposed to read along with this?
Oh,
Or
wow.
is there sound?
You're
That's
not
why
here.
Yeah, that's why that big red line was in there. I was trying to figure out how to change a setting, but we're not getting any audio at all.
Okay, that's weird. Sorry, I just saw your hand go up. Oh boy, I don't know. I am not sure what to do about that. I'm curious if the sound is even being recorded.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to throw a monkey wrench in everybody's plans, but we can't hear anything.
I mean, they can hear us, so if it's playing in this room, why would it not?
Right.
Why would they not be able to hear?
Yeah, so these microphones,
Oh, because that's all they can hear is anything through the mic.
yeah, these microphones go into the Zoom,
So do we
and
need-
the Zoom comes out of those into this room, but if you're not close enough to the microphone, then it doesn't. So I could
the microphone.
somehow put a microphone up
Do we have a
too.
ladder and like a side room or
I
something?
mean, so, maybe the thing to do would be for Kurt and Trina and anyone, I can share this link. We can also set up another viewing at City Hall. But I'll share the link in the password with you guys. And if you want to watch it at home or get it set up to watch here, you can do that. And then maybe we could plan to have any committee discussion about it at a later date, just so that, you know, if Trina and Kurt aren't able to watch it tonight and, you know, you already would have missed like 15 minutes of sound. Sorry about that. Yeah, then there might be things that you wouldn't be able to comment on that you otherwise might want to. Does that sound like a good solution?
That sounds like a great idea.
Okay, sorry, I wish I knew that was gonna happen.
We couldn't figure out. We kept going, I can hear him though, but I can't hear any sound. I go, maybe there's no sound. And then it's like the second slide and I'm like, wait a minute, they're writing stuff.
Yeah, she's,
All right.
yeah. Yeah, so she's
right, so
talking over it, yeah.
We'll join back in on the, at the 7 o'clock.
Okay, we'll see you at 7.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, the woes of technology. So how did this red line get up here then?
I think they have remote control. If
Oh,
you use,
okay.
when you have that enabled, then people can write and put emojis and all different kinds of things on the screen.
Okay.
So we can thank them for not taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
But you you don't usually want to have the remote control enabled, I think. For like large groups, you know, you could get Zoom bombed and. I think that's it's one of those things, or no, it's annotate. Is there something up there with the, yeah, that one. So I don't know if you can turn it off at this point or.
All right,
Back at it.
we will continue.
Jerry's on his way. It's just a little blip. Hmm. She encouraged us to be patient, Taylor.
We are 3 minutes until the official meeting start time. Y'all want to take a 3-minute break?
Again, just like last time, I apologize. I had the meeting. Thank you, guys.
Welcome back, Kurt and Trina.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you guys can't see me. Great. And Kurt and Trina, do y'all have the agenda and meeting minutes pulled up, or would it be helpful for me to put that on the screen?
We've got those, and I actually do have something to say about the meeting minutes.
Okay. Oh, can we should probably go through,
Call the meeting to
let's,
order.
yeah, call the meeting. Actually, I think we need to adjourn.
Oh,
Sorry.
right. So it's at 7:03, we are adjourning the workshop. And at 7:03, we are calling to order the regular meeting of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee.
Great. Everyone check that your mask is covering your nose and mouth. Thank you very much. And I'll go ahead with roll call. Again, Jennifer Strickland. Here. Christina Carney. Here. Aaron Smith.
Here.
Shannon Stout. Here. Jessica Gates. Absent. Kurt Schwiegert.
Yep.
Trina Feldman.
Here.
All right.
Do we have any citizen comments?
Nope.
No, see, this doesn't have the minutes on the agenda. Is
Oh.
that usually part of our agenda?
Yeah, sorry, that's my mistake. So let's pretend that it does have approval of the November 18th meeting minutes.
Do we have discussion about the meeting minutes?
Yes, I have something, a little bit of input on those meeting minutes.
Okay,
On those meeting minutes, it's suggested that I would like to see another crosswalk up by the grade school, which is totally not what I said. The crosswalk that I'm talking about is going in between Thriftway and the nursing home that's across the street.
did you say
That's-
Thriftway?
Yes.
Third and Main?
I'm not sure what the corner is, but it's the corner, if you're coming out of Thriftway and you want to go across to Ace Hardware, it's that
Yeah.
corner right there where the flashing light is. But at nighttime, you can be, I guarantee you, if anyone were to get out of the meeting and then drive down the hill on Main Street and take a look at the bottom of that hill, and tonight's not even really that bad of a rainy night, but I guarantee you, you're not going to be able to see anybody if they start to cross right there.
Okay, so just a little bit of an update on that. We are moving forward with our Main Street project. The city is moving forward with the Main Street project. So that will definitely be addressed in the in the upcoming months during this Main Street project. And I'll make sure, I spoke a little bit about it before, but I'll make sure to continue that, the lighting in that area and a crosswalk in that area. But yes, we are moving forward with the Main Street project, which is gonna basically just, beautify and redo the pavement, the sidewalks, the crosswalks, everything, as much as we can do on Main Street. So we are moving forward with that as far as the city goes.
Right. I just wanted to point out that the description of what's in the minutes is like 100% totally inaccurate.
We can fix the minutes to reflect what you just said
Perfect.
tonight, and then we can bring that back to the next meeting to approve later. If that's okay with the committee?
Sure. So we're tabling the approval of the,
What you can do is just to agree to amend the minutes and then
Oh, okay.
agree to approve the minutes as amended.
okay. So can we have a motion to,
I motion to amend the minutes. I motion to amend the minutes.
do we have a second?
I don't know how much it matters, but there is a typo if we want to add that into the amendment.
So Jerry, can I ask, when you motion to amend the minutes as
So
described?
the motion should say, I move to approve the minutes as amended. Yeah, that should be the motion.
I move to approve I move to say,
Approve the minutes.
I have a motion, I can't, somebody else want to do it.
A motion to approve the amendment. Oh, no, the minutes as amended.
Thank you, my mouth, nothing works.
Do we have a second?
I second to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And Taylor, what is the policy on typos? Is that?
I don't know that there's any official policy, but there are typos in a lot of minutes, including of other cities and county minutes. So,
So if it doesn't significantly affect the
yeah.
substance,
yeah, I would say if it's not affecting the meaning, then it's probably not an issue. Whereas, yeah, if there's like in Kurt's example, if we're talking about a completely different crosswalk and it's, especially if he's wanting to later reference these minutes and say, see, we discussed it with the committee, it's important to have the correct information. There's a little typo in there, something's misspelled, probably not a big deal unless it changes the meaning. So, but since we're going to go back in there and change them anyway, yeah, feel free to.
It's a spelling of the word template twice.
Okay, yeah, I'll look for that then.
Sorry, I was an English major.
you're going to get yourself a new job if you're not careful.
I know, I shouldn't say that.
So now we're moving on to considering changes to the scheduled meeting time.
Yeah, so Jessica, who's not able to be here tonight, it sounds like she's got a change to her work schedule. And it will be hard for her to make Thursday evening meetings. And so she's wondering if this committee is open to, she suggested a Friday meeting date. That will be difficult with the city staff schedule. Most of us work 4 10s or, 4 9s and then a half day on Friday or, so it would be hard for us to staff a Friday meeting. There is one committee that I think does not have city staff. And the chair of, is it the arts?
Arts
Yeah.
Commission is not staffed by the city. They have a president, a secretary, and a treasurer.
Yeah,
So
so,
if that's the case, that you want to move it to Fridays without staff, then you would just have to appoint a secretary to take notes.
yeah, so you would do your own meeting minutes. You would probably Aaron or a designated person would like have a key to City Hall, and you would come in and have to know how to work all the equipment and stuff. So it would just be a bit more of a lift on Fridays. We can also do, so Jessica made it sound like weekday evenings would be hard. And so another option, if the rest of the committee could do meetings during the day, during the workday, that's something that we can also do. So yeah, putting that out there on behalf of Jessica, just getting that maybe conversation rolling. If it's something that definitely won't work, then we can say, sorry, won't work. But if it's something that you all need to maybe look into your schedules and get back to us about, that's fine too. So that's what I know.
Don't let this change your discussion or your decision, but the only day that I could do a meeting during the daytime work hours would be Mondays. You know. So.
Should we have a discussion?
I think we need Taylor, so I don't think Friday evenings is great because we really need you.
Yeah,
I
wait,
agree.
So what is the plan with that? I heard that you were not going to be at our meetings.
Yeah, well, I don't know what
Okay.
the plan is. This committee is not like a regular or official part of my job description. So I was assigned to this committee because it's something that I was willing to do. I had, some experience around DEI stuff. So, and I was available to help out. But yeah, it sounds like probably one of the new community development staff that we will be hiring over the next few months will be taking on this committee, or, well, I don't know, there'll be discussion around that. I love the idea of, just for the record, and it is on record, but I love the idea of still occasionally helping to staff this committee. I think y'all are great and you have great conversations, and I'd love to stay involved. But yeah, I won't be, permanently staffing the committee anyway. But yes, on Fridays, it would also be that no one else would be staffing the committee. So yeah, that's something to consider. So sorry, that's not really an answer. I don't know what's going to be happening with that or when, except to say that I wouldn't be leaving this committee or staffing this committee any sooner than February, just because we won't be hiring that quickly. So.
But having a city staff person in general feels like an important
Yes,
piece.
especially with being a new committee and all.
Yes. Okay.
And so I know this is a later item, but it is related. So the next agenda item is department and committee liaisons. And this is something that we talked about in one of our staff meetings. I think Aaron, maybe you brought it up, that it's hard, or one of the challenges that this committee has is that you all are supposed to be working on, evaluating the city's different operations and procedures and policies and stuff with an equity lens, and kind of looking at, okay, who might be getting left out, or how might this be creating some unfair exclusion? based on the way that the city is currently operating. And it's hard for you to do that work if you don't have enough understanding of how the city is currently operating. So what we talked about, if you all are interested, is having you be either an assigned designated liaison for one of the city's departments. So you could be, someone could decide to be the planning liaison. You occasionally come to the planning commission meetings. You could all join an occasional staff meeting where we talk about all kinds of stuff that's going on among staff. You could come in for occasional meetings with me or the other new planning staff that I'm excited to have soon. Similarly, we have the Public Works Department. They work on different kinds of stuff. We will soon have a new city manager. So there could be a liaison for that person, things like that. And then, as you're all familiar, we have all of these other city committees that you could also liaise with and sit in occasionally or regularly, depending on what they're open to, on their meetings. I guess they're all public anyway. So all that to say, if you did go the route of having all or most of you be a liaison to one of the departments and start regularly attending staff meetings or just meeting with staff and talking through what's going on in the department, it might be easier to have Friday meetings without staff. Maybe, I don't know. Just in terms of, the questions that you sometimes have about how the city functions internally.
So the committees that are the city committees, I'm not sure about the library board, but the two committees that the city liaisons that we have no, we can give input, but we have no control over how they operate, what they do, are the fire board and the school district, the school board. So if you wanted to look at the other committees, you can always go to, if somebody wanted to be the liaison for the fire board, you just would have, your input would be during citizen comment time. And then the school board would be the same. But if you wanted to do it, I would recommend the other committees. And I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure about the library board. I'm not sure how that, how that board works, but I know those other two, you would not have any, you could recommend changes to them. You could recommend stuff to them, but they're not controlled by city staff or city council. So, yeah.
Okay. So do we need to do a check to see if people are willing to enter in the discussion? Or did Kurt, Trina, do we need to do a vote on if people are open to discussing a change in times? Or
I don't think it needs to be a vote, but just if anyone has thoughts, I would just encourage you to say them into the microphone.
Because it sounds like Jessica can't attend anymore if we
I think
continue this meeting time, but we don't want to also then exclude anyone else if we change the time. So
exactly. Yeah. A change would need the whole rest of the committee's approval.
right.
Yeah.
So is a Survey Monkey, or is there a tool that we could do to gauge everybody's, their availability?
Yeah, if you wanted to, anyone is welcome to speak up if you know that it won't work for you. If you're also more comfortable doing it anonymously, I would be happy to.
Kurt's got his hand
Kurt, you
raised.
can just go ahead and start talking.
Just something to kind of keep in the back of everybody's head. And, I totally understand the need on Jessica's part to want to move it. I'm hesitant on Fridays just because, what's going to start happening you know, people generally, if they're going to go out of town, they're going to probably want to leave Friday right after work. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I just kind of want everybody to keep in the back of your heads. I'm open to anything. I don't go anywhere anyway. So
Kurt has an open schedule. We know that. I don't know who has, Jessica has a complicated schedule, so we'd need to know all options that work for her. And then maybe we could put those up on a Survey Monkey and see if something like that, where we could then say if any of those worked. Several of us have full-time jobs.
Right, they go all different hours.
Yeah.
Mine's not already set, but I feel, but I like that we have a routine, and the people that I work with are very supportive of of what I do in the second Thursday. Just because sometimes it might work later hours, depending on the needs of what we're doing, work related.
Right.
I'm free every night after 5 o'clock, other than the nights that I already have meetings scheduled with Parks and Rec and Arts Commission, and then Performing Arts Group of Estacada. We've moved our meetings to Saturday nights, I think, so that won't interfere. But Council, Arts Commission, and Parks and Rec, those are the nights that I'm not available.
I don't think she's looking at nights, because I think her schedule now is graveyard.
Yeah.
So she's working in the evenings.
So, but daytime, like I said, the only day that I'm available is Monday.
I'm available Monday.
Mondays could be better for me.
Make Monday work.
I said I would be willing to take vacation time at work to
Yeah.
squirrel time away.
Are we talking daytime hours now? So I have a meeting at 3:30 to 5 that I couldn't, yeah, so.
Okay, so, but if we can find out, maybe we start with Jessica's windows and then we see if we can all agree on one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good. Okay, I will follow up with her for her availability, and then, yeah, we can put together a doodle poll
Oh, yeah,
or something
doodle
like
polls.
that.
Yeah, forgot about this.
Great, all right.
So did we need to discuss more about the department and committee liaisons? I think,
Yeah, what questions or thoughts do you all have about that?
We could get a list of them, and then we could decide who would like to liaison for
Well,
which
yeah,
I
committee.
guess the discussion would have to be, is that something you guys are interested in doing? I mean, because if you don't want to overload an individual person with 3 liaisons. Wait, no, that's okay. It's not that bad. But no, you just want to make sure that you have enough people interested that can attend those meetings. And you guys have to want to do it. It's not something that, that Aaron can just force on everybody. It's something that you have to want to do. Because if you don't want to do it, you're not going to accomplish anything. So I think it's a great idea, though, especially, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a great idea for any other committee, but for this committee in particular, it is a great idea. It's an amazing idea. So
I'd be
So-
willing to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I'd be willing to, but I'd like to see the list, and if they have like the dates or whatever they meet, so we can kind of figure it out before we all say, yeah, that sounds great. And then we're like, actually, none of us can make it. I think more information would be super helpful.
Agreed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm very interested in it, and I just want to make sure I can fit it in.
Yeah,
But I think it would be great.
and again, all of the other committees, just like this one, meet once a month. They have once a month meetings, unless there's something out of the ordinary. So
so we're talking about not just the committees, but also
Oh,
the
yeah,
different
yeah.
departments of the city
Yeah.
and how, I
So-
mean, it'd be determining what made sense for us. I mean, is it just attending their you said staff meetings is an easy one. That's a time when we could easily plan to go, but I don't know if the departments have their own staff meeting times that we'd be
Well, yeah.
a department of one. It
Not
depends.
yet,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So, yeah, we have regular staff meetings. Those are not open to the public. The nice thing about the committee meeting, the other, committees and commissions are, those meetings are already, you can already attend those whenever you want and whenever they're having them, or watch the recordings or whatever. But yeah, getting the sort of, insider look at the staff side of the city's operation, I think would be helpful for this committee. I mean, I'm saying that as I'm biased because I'm a staff person and I'm excited about what recommendations the city or this committee might have for how we can improve the various things that we do. So I personally like that idea. But yeah, that's something that we could either just offer up an occasional invitation to one of our weekly staff meetings. It wouldn't be every staff meeting is open to, however many DEI committee members. We would have to always keep it to under a quorum. So, if 3 of you wanted to attend one of our staff meetings one day, and get to ask questions and figure out what's going on, that'd be fine. And we could just open it up to you, and it could be optional and not, I don't know, I guess it's up to the committee, whether it's something where you want that person to commit to attending staff meetings quarterly and, be able to report back, or is it something where you just want this option to occasionally check in on things and when you're available, get to meet with this certain staff and learn about this certain project, and have it more loosey-goosey like that. I think we would be open to any of that. So it's kind of up to the committee what you want that to look like in terms of a commitment level.
I think it's critical we pursue it because I think it's about establishing relationships, and there could be things that we propose or that we discuss that if there's no relationship built between us and these other areas of the city, that it may not go over well. So I think it's a good initiative, and I think we need to see how many different meetings we're talking about and how often. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love to see us rotating so that we're all kind of getting exposure to all of the different inner workings.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, so the next step is to get some sort of a list of committees, departments, potentially gathering when their regular meetings are, if they have them, and then we can start breaking that down.
Yeah, so the list of committees is it's in the city code, and on the city website. The website also kind of describes the different departments, but I think I'll follow up with that information for next meeting, or maybe just in a follow-up email, just so that you all have that written out with like the different names of the various staff and what kind of department they fall under, so that y'all can start thinking about that. And at our next staff meeting, I will let the rest of staff know that that's something that it sounds like the committee is interested in doing, or at least some of you are interested in doing something like that. And if they have any ideas for how that would need to look on their ends, then I can bring that to you all at your next meeting as well.
And when you're looking at the meeting times, just remember, I already attend Parks and Rec. I already attend Arts Commission. And depending on what happens Monday, you might have a built-in representative on the Arts Commission, depending on what happens Monday. But if nobody wanted to go or to be the liaison for those 2 committees, you do have, I can do that for you. But it would still be nice to get one of you guys in those meetings, so.
Okay, and we could potentially also start by focusing on city departments and sort of establishing that understanding and those relationships. So we're not spreading out so thin. And then once we feel like we've met people and have a little bit better understanding, then we could start expanding out to the different committees.
Yeah.
Kurt and Trina, do you have anything to add to that conversation?
Now, like everything you guys said is great, and we just need to make sure that we can find out the logistics of everything, so that way, you know, to make sure that that person's available.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I like the rotation part that Aaron suggested, so we can get familiar with all of them.
All right. So now we are moving on to developing and discussing changes to committee definitions and recruitment language. Now, was this originally going to be the topic of our workshop last week that we canceled? Yes, okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I guess it's up to you all if that's something that you want to. If you feel like it's something that's too big to try to tackle in a meeting that's already been going for a while.
Well,
Or if you just want to touch on, the most pressing items, knowing that the council is going to discuss something related at their meeting on the 13th. Yeah, up to you all.
Thoughts? Jenny, you look ready.
Do I? I think I might have misled you.
Oh, okay, I saw the writing on your notebook and you look so organized. So.
My thought on it would be to wait and let's get more familiar with each one of the different committees and stuff. Because like Ten Bush was saying at the last meeting, they basically got everybody. They're not going to be recruiting anybody for a year anyway. That gives us a year to look at them more closely and get more familiar with them.
So potentially building ourselves in more time to go back to a workshop to discuss these things too, instead of in a general meeting.
Is it necessary to complete this step before going on to other steps?
Can you elaborate what you mean by other steps?
Okay, so is it necessary to complete this? To complete changing or not changing the recruitment language before going on to the next topic that we'd want to be? Is this going to stall
Anything else?
anything else?
Does anybody see any reason why delaying this would delay other work?
So this might have already been answered in previous meetings and I might just not be remembering. So is the plan to have a blanket application? Because we're talking about the applications for committees, right? So is the plan to have a blanket application for the majority of the committees, or is there going to, or are you looking at individual applications for each committee with individual wording for each, for each application?
Oh,
Or is it going to be one blanket application? One application does all, like basically like what we have now? Or is there going to be, so Arts Commission having their own specific arts qualifications or whatever, and then budget, well, I guess you can't really change anything in the budget committee meeting, but like the Parks and Rec, is the wording going to be the same on all applications, or is every single committee going to have their own separate application?
I had proposed, I believe, every committee having its own separate application. Now that I've looked at my notes, I think. Okay, one sec. I thought I was more organized. So I think maybe having all of them in the code have their establishment, like A through F or whatever, and their membership stuff. having that information on the application so that people understand what they're getting into for each individual thing, just so that you don't have people who are like, I don't know what I'm filling out or what I'm applying for, but here you go. And I think that would also make it more accessible because you could print them out and hand them to people or have them at events like Parks and Rec activities. You could be like, here's the application, we have an opening. I figure that would be helpful.
Then if that's the case, then my recommendation would be to treat each one as an individual agenda item, not try to get them all done at one time. Treat each one as an individual agenda item. Work on that one application until you're happy with it and it's finished. And then at that point, move, at another meeting, not the same meeting. I mean, if you guys think you can bust out one or two of them, 2 or 3 of them, in a meeting would be great, but if, don't overwhelm yourselves. Treat each individual committee as its own agenda item. Work through that one application and before you move on to another one.
Did we talk about creating a template though, so that each one is formatted the same, but they would each have their own descriptions and potentially qualifications related to the specific material, but that people could count on knowing how to fill them out because they would all be similar.
I believe that was mentioned. That's why template needed corrected. But I also believe, Taylor, you said that we wouldn't necessarily be like creating the application, the application, we would just be creating recommendations for how staff would format the application, correct?
Yes, and yes, so the language so for example, the application for this committee was much more detailed and had a description of what the city was looking for. And that description was pulled from the code that defines the committee. So yeah, if you want to make the applications include information that describes what the committee's about, and the membership criteria and stuff, you at minimum need to make sure it doesn't conflict with what the code says. And probably the easiest thing to do is something similar to what we did with this committee, where we just plopped the code language into the application. And then we would just format it according to, whatever format. I mean, y'all can feel free to comment on the formatting too, if you have ideas about how to make that more readable or accessible. So yeah, I think the bulk of your recommendations then would be like looking at the definitions of the different committees, and if you had recommended changes to the language that describes what that committee is about, then that would be part of your recommendation.
I think we talked about
Package.
including the meeting structure so that people knew going in what the days, times, length of serve, all that stuff, so that they can go in knowing without any surprises.
Mhm.
And even, maybe even include what offices, I guess, is offices, what offices each committee has. So like this committee has a chair and a co-chair, right? Or
Mhm.
so, and like Parks and Rec has a chair. I think they just have a chair. I don't think Parks and Rec has any other officers. It's just Brett Dodgel. And then like the Arts Commission, again, they have
President,
co-presidents or co-chairs. Right now they have co-chairs working towards getting that one person to chair, and then they have a secretary and a treasurer. So, and I'm not sure how the other board or the other committees are set up, but, maybe include the offices that are that each committee has, because, like right now with all the new applicants coming in, it'd be nice to know that there's a possibility that you might have an opportunity starting right off the bat to be secretary or treasurer,
Would it be helpful to take the opportunity if we are attending their meetings to ask them if there are any barriers that they're currently experiencing with their application process?
Yeah, I think we should definitely be talking to each of these groups before we tell them how they should change what they're doing.
Well, just get their input on
Yeah.
the process.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if any of the other committees do it, but I think the only committee that interviews interviews applicants before council or the mayor selects the applicants is the Arts Commission. I'm not sure if any of the other committees or commissions does
one.
what.
This one,
Wasn't that just for the first time? There was
I
an
don't know.
interview process?
No,
Because I
so-
came on without any
So
interview.
no, council does an interview
Oh, that's
process,
right.
but like the Arts Commission, they held their
themselves?
own
Oh,
interview process. They held their own, process. So last Tuesday, last week, the 5 applicants for the Arts Commission seats all came to the Arts Commission meeting, and the Arts Commission asked them questions individually, and then from that they made their recommendation to the mayor.
Okay.
So the other committees, they just they basically just take what council gives them.
that's really interesting. And I don't know if that merits more discussion as well about how the processes are vastly different than for each committee.
That might be a barrier
Yeah.
to getting.
I'm, like I said, I'm not sure how, infrastructure, planning, DEC, how they do it, but I know Parks and Rec does not. We haven't had that opportunity yet. So, and
I'd just be curious to see what they think the benefits are of interviewing. I mean, I can think of some benefits, but why the Arts Commission does that and nobody else does.
yeah, well, I know the Arts Commission, they want a cohesive unit. They want to know that the people that they're working with during their commission, they want to know that they can work with them, So, and it's nice to, for me, it was really nice to hear, the questions that were asked and definitely to hear the answers that were given. And I was able to ask a couple of questions too, and it was really nice to get that information going into the decision-making process, and I know that one is appointed by the mayor, but it was still really nice to get that information. And then, of course, then I could give feedback to the chair on what my recommendation was. So,
Right.
I'm sorry.
so
The
they,
mayor chooses, or do you vote on it?
for the Arts Commission, the mayor appoints with council consent, or there's a word for it.
That sounds right, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's a vote for the council.
Well, no, there's no
Or-
vote. The
okay.
mayor appoints and then the council either agrees or doesn't agree. Then there's discussion. If there's a disagreement, then there's discussion. But all in all, for that, I'm not sure how the other committees work, but I know for that committee in particular, it's a appointment by the mayor.
So I think we need to inventory every committee and how, what their process is and how somebody ends up on the committee. I think that would be interesting to see.
And also city code, and look at the city code on how each individual committee is appointed, whether it's a council, like this committee is a council decision. It's voted on by council, which I think that all committees should be that way, but that's my personal opinion. So.
Yeah. But in the Arts Commission themselves brings formal recommendations forward, including their reasoning
Yeah.
for
to
the
mayor.
recommendations.
Well, and I definitely noticed in reading all of the different like code for all the different committees. It seems very obvious that they were written at different times. So maybe one of our recommendations to city council would be just updating them so they all kind of match. Because there are the inconsistencies of, well, why does the mayor appoint here but not here? And kind of just cleaning them up a little bit so that they make more sense.
When is our next meeting? It's like in 2022.
Yeah, wow, it's December. That's nuts. I have no idea. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Just thinking about what else is on our,
So it's the second Thursday, right?
Yeah, unless you
change it.
changed your schedule, it would be January 13th.
Were there some things coming up in January and February that we had talked about?
There is, I'm not sure. Oh, I think we talked about offering second and third viewings of the webinar. If we wanted to offer it to a group or other committees or, yeah, just community members, we could cap it at whatever number of people is safe to have.
Be a
sign
good
up
meet
for
and
in person.
greet for
Yeah,
us to have, I mean, even if we just started out with the other committees in town and asked them to come and we could all be here and meet each other and watch the webinar together.
I would recommend limiting it to, 2 or 3 members from
each.
each committee per meeting or per viewing.
Mhm.
If you wanted to do multiple viewings, you guys will have it all memorized and could probably lead it by the time you get through a couple of them. But I wouldn't recommend doing like one committee at one viewing, one whole committee at a viewing. I would recommend splitting it up so that you get that the diversity, so you're getting a few people from each committee,
Mhm.
at each viewing, if they're interested in doing, which most, I figure the majority of them would be interested, so.
So if we wanted to communicate with the other committees just to offer this, engage interest, how would we go about doing that?
You can, so staff would send that out to all of the different committees.
The chair,
Yeah, either the chair or,
Just their distribution list?
yeah, we have, I'm pretty sure every committee has like the bundled email address, like what you all have. So we could either do that or just send it out directly to the chair of each committee and have them figure out what their members want to do. So,
So if we crafted something and sent it,
yep, we could distribute it.
okay,
my recommendation would be to send it to the chair, and then if there seems to be interest, set it up as an agenda item for their meeting, and then show up to their meeting and say, this is what we're doing. These are the days we would like to do it. Have somebody from the DEIC go and present it to each committee. That would be a recommendation from me.
would anybody like to work with me on coming up with an email that we could send to the chair of each committee?
I could do that.
Okay. Jenny and I will work on an email.
I'm not sure if maybe I'll ask, but maybe you know, Jerry. So there is an issue with committee members emailing among the whole group or among at least a quorum. But there's not an issue with a committee member emailing a member of another city committee,
No,
right? And there's not an issue with less than a quorum of the same committee emailing amongst each other. So theoretically, I mean.
We could
I'm-
directly send it.
Yeah, I'm
if
more
you
than
give it-
happy
okay.
to help
Yeah,
out with that, and
I would-
Sadie would be happy to help, but.
yeah, I would definitely recommend going through staff, not just doing, maybe form, do the email and then let staff distribute it. That is the best
Send it
practice.
to them.
Okay. Okay, homework noted. Okay, so we're going to not dive into the applications right now because there's more information we need to gather. So we need to start by inventorying the code section for each of the committees and gathering the applications and, oh wait, all the applications are the same except for ours. So gathering the process information, if it's not explicit in the code for each of the committees. And that information will be what we start with. So maybe we can have some time at our January meeting, whenever it is, to, I mean, that's enough time for us to gather that info, right? So we could at least discuss that before diving into specifics.
Parks and Rec does not meet again until after your next meeting. They don't have a meeting this month because their meeting this month would be Christmas week. Unless you reached out to Chair Dodrell on that, I don't know that you'd get any information from them. And I'm not sure about if the other committees will be meeting between this meeting and your next meeting. So just remember, you have about 10 months to get it figured out, to get this worked out. So it doesn't have to all be done right at once.
Right, any more discussion on recruitment language committee definitions for this meeting? We'll double check with Kurt and Trina, anything to contribute?
No, I think we're both good.
Okay, so we move on to citizen comments again.
No citizens.
Okay. Committee comments. Let's start with Jerry.
Okay. Again, I apologize for being late to the webinar. I will make sure that anything that is outside of the meeting times, I will make sure that I put a notification for myself to make it so that I don't miss it. I already adjusted the meeting times, so that I do get those notifications, but anything outside of that, I'll make sure that I add notifications. But I think just seeing, I might have said this before, but seeing where you guys are at now to where we started, from where we started, it's amazing. It's a huge uptick. You guys have advanced so much from where we started to where you're at now. So I really appreciate all the hard work you guys are putting in. The ideas are amazing. Thank you for taking my input. I have a lot to say, so, but thank you guys, and always, thank you, Taylor.
Well, thank you, Jerry, for giving us your input, because where would we be without Jerry? And I, in a weird way, I enjoyed the movie we watched tonight. It was really informative, got some good stuff out of it. And I like what we're doing here. I'm excited to dive into seeing how we can help these other committees with their process of bringing new people in. And I like working with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here, and Kurt and Trina for making the effort to join us via Zoom, which I know is never as engaging or fun as when we're all here in person. It seems like every time we start moving down a path to dive into some work, we immediately discover that there's more research and more we need to learn before we can do that. But I don't feel like that's a negative. I feel like we just keep uncovering things that we need to better understand. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to learn more about the way the city works, and so that we can really be efficient and really pointed, or I don't know what the right word is for it, but just that so that we're doing good, effective work, because I know we all have limited time. So thank you all.
And I want to say thank you to all of you for all of us being together to work on this. I think it's such a important thing. And I really enjoyed our watching the training that or webinar that we were watching earlier. And I personally thought to myself, wow, because a lot of the work that I do for my work is centered around DEI. So I thought, wow, I liked how she talked about it's always evolving. So I have learned a lot personally, and I'm, excited to be part of this with you all so we can move forward, and we're always learning something new, and we're always going to evolve. And thank you, Jerry, for all your input, and Taylor for your help as well. So just glad to be part of this committee.
Well, thank you everyone for being here in whatever form you are, whether it's Zoom or in person. I'm glad we were able to come together after a canceled workshop. That was a little discouraging, but glad we're here now.
I said it happens.
Yeah.
Kind of this time of year.
I also want to thank staff in general for embracing us like they are, because it's really nice to hear that they're interested in working with us. And I hope that the other committees will be as excited to do that. So I'm just really excited for that, and getting to get out into the world and kind of talk to other people, because we talk about it a lot amongst ourselves, but kind of experiencing it amongst other people will be really cool. Oh, and I guess happy holidays and happy new year.
Trina, would you like to go next?
Sure. I wish I could have been there in person. I can't drive at night, and Kurt drives for me, and he can't wear the mask all the way up because of some issues he had on his nose. So, but I'm glad that we have the option of Zoom. It is what it is. I hope you guys all have a Merry Christmas, and hopefully this mask mandate goes down at some point and we can be there in person. Thank you, guys.
Kurt, you're up.
Yeah, Trina's right. It does look like somebody. I did not shoot myself in the nose with a 40 cal, but that's what it looks like. So, and I think we're all good. I just can't wait for the craziness to end.
All right.
All right.
So does that mean officially at 8 o'clock that this meeting of the DEI is adjourned?
Very nice.
You like having a gavel? Read it one more time for us.